so many discs everywhere, I don't know. Anyways, this is what happens when you have this many fucking video games. So, I go to school about halfway across my state, and for those of you in England, you might think, oh, that's only 30 minutes away, but I live in California, which is bigger than your entire fucking country, so that means halfway across my state is 6 hours away.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is. California is bigger than the state of England.
Really?
Yes! That means that every time I come home for break or vacation, I'm left looking at the collection that I've been building for about the past 7 years. And it's kind of sad because this is probably what I care the most about physically in my life, other than, of course, my friends and family. But still, it sort of made me think in the last 2 years or so, why do I care so much about game collecting? Why is it something that I really love? Even though, in all honesty, it has very little to do with playing actual video games. For instance, when I was a kid, I mostly play games on my computer, and when I first got my PlayStation 4 in middle school, I bought all of my games digitally. Enjoying games was something much more about the actual video games, and I still think that holds true. When I play video games, a lot of the time, I really just care about what I'm actually playing. I enjoy the art that they were able to make over the course of many years. I mean, video games take years upon years to make at this point, and so my enjoyment of collecting video games almost feels like I'm appreciating all of the work and effort that goes into creating these amazing things. But again, it's not needed to enjoy video games. So then why do I enjoy collecting? So late last night or a few nights ago, I went through every single game in my collection and I recounted the story of how I bought it, or what my experiences were playing it. You see, there's a lot of different types of game collectors. Some of them that you'll see on YouTube that have like the Guinness World Records biggest game collection. Those guys, I mean, do you really think they play every single game they collect? Especially those people that buy, PSA 10 sealed editions of tennis for the NES. Who really cares about playing the video game at that point? In that case, it's more about the collecting. That's the difference. For me, almost every single game I buy, I plan to at least try out at one point. And I know most collectors will agree with that, but at the same time, that means I will basically avoid a lot of the games that collectors use to pad out their collection. Games like, at this point, worthless sports games. Stupid things in your collection that, sure, I do have, like I have Rock Band 2, I'm never gonna actually play this in my entire life, but, I own it. These are the types of things that I've been sort of avoiding collecting. But then again, something that I realized was, I'm still interested in collecting games that aren't playable. For instance, I still have my original copy of Overwatch, which at this point, this game is completely obsolete because they came out with Overwatch 2, which completely overrided the original game, and it's free to play. This thing is literally worthless. I was thinking even about collecting a version of Concord for the PS5 for no reason other than that piece of game history is so interesting and unique, I want to own it, even though it's completely valueless in terms of actually playing the game. And then, we get to my favorite parts of my game collection, which is when I realized that the act of game collecting really is so disconnected from playing video games. For instance, my favorite thing in my collection is my copy of Planescape Torment. This is a big box PC game. There's collectors that collect tons of these. I only wanted this because it's a game that I do really care about. In this collection, there's a huge sort of guidebook, an instruction manual, a set of CDs, and a stupid ad for a pager. It's completely useless. I will never put the DVDs from this into my disk drive to play the game. I own it on Steam. But I love having this because I love the video game, and I enjoy having a relic of gaming history, or I enjoy just having this on my shelf to show people and say, even though games are, mostly a digital medium, legitimately, it has impacted my life in a way in which it means something to me physically. Another one of my favorite games I've collected is No One Lives Forever for the PS2. This game it's weird. Nobody really cares about it. I played a PC port of it, and I thought it was so interesting because it's like this weird spy adventure that's kind of like Austin Powers. It's stupid. It's so stupid. And when I saw this on my game store shelf, I said, I need to buy that, and I did instantly. This is one of my favorite parts of my collection, and really nobody else would care about it but me, and that's what collecting is all about. One collection that I have that is completely useless is I collected a bunch of G Fuel cans for all of the different gaming flavors of G Fuel they made. I remember I started collecting this because I saw they had the Crash Bandicoot flavor, and I said, oh my god, that's so cool. Crash Bandicoot is on the shelf of my local 7-Eleven, and then I saw Tetris, and then I saw PewDiePie, and next thing you know, I have the entire set. I'm not sure if it's the entire set, but I'm not even going to buy anymore because it's completely useless to have all these cans of expired soda on my shelf. But it's cool to have. It's one of my favorite things in the world. This is what game collecting is about. I have videos upon videos of analyzing the stories of video games and analyzing what they do in terms of gameplay. That's not why I collect video games. I collect these things because I enjoy the art of video games. I enjoy them on a physical level. Now, game collecting itself is pretty much a hassle at this point. So I got my Xbox 360, my N64, my PS2. I got basically all of these consoles other than my PS5 before the pandemic. So this was before the prices completely skyrocketed. I got a complete N64, for instance, with 2 free games for $40 pre-pandemic. And I got my PS2, the console itself, for $20 on eBay. And then my local game store used to have a buy 2 get 1 free deal for PS2 games. And they still sometimes run these deals, but nonetheless, I wouldn't have such a decent collection if it wasn't for the fact that I got into this so early. I couldn't imagine starting a game collection nowadays. It would completely suck. But the one thing that I would recommend is to just buy the games that you want. Nowadays, I walk into a game store, and I'm completely fine walking out with absolutely nothing. Back in the day, I would try to get, a random game that I didn't have yet. I'd try to buy something new. But I think now that I have so much, it's actually satisfying to go a few months not buying something. See something on the shelf like Spore Hero Arena, and buy it because I love Spore. Spore is one of my favorite games of all time. So it was cool to finally purchase something that I do care about. So the thing about game collecting for me, I guess, is I don't like to just splurge, go all out, buy whatever I can. I avoid things like giant lots on eBay and Craigslist in which you get 20 games at once. Because what's the point of that? That's not why I do this. I enjoy collecting games that I know I'm gonna play in the next few years. I enjoy buying games that I know I'll see on my shelf later, and I'll be able to take it and go, I remember learning about this game. I remember playing through this game. I remember seeing this on the shelf and going, wow, I really, really have to have that in my collection. That's why I collect games. I'm gonna be going away once again for about 5 months to college, and I won't see almost any of these for the entirety of that time. But that's fine to me because while I'm out, I'll collect a few more things. There's still things in my collection I've been looking for. For instance, Spec Ops: The Line is a game I've been looking for over 4 years at this point. I could buy that anytime on eBay. I could go to eBay and buy that right now. Even though the price skyrocketed after that game got delisted off of Steam, it's still something that you can just go online and buy. But I don't want to do that. Part of the fun is going out and trying to find something. Having that moment at this point that I'm waiting for, in which I've been looking for this game for 5 years. The thrill of finally seeing it on a shelf of a game store is gonna be unbelievable. That's what I'm excited for in the future. Even if I'm not going to be collecting tens of hundreds of games, I'm very happy with the collection I have now. I'm very excited to see what the future of my collection goes, and that's why I collect video games. I collect them because I appreciate every little detail of every game I bought, even the ones that are stupid, even the spare disc of NCAA Football 2011. This is stupid, this is worthless. I could crack this over my knee right now and I'd be fine. But I enjoy having oddities and weird things from the past that I can take off and talk about. If you can't tell, this has been a very ranty video. I'm planning to make more things in the future. I have a script that I'm making for the next week. This video was mostly for me, other than anybody else, because I wanted to talk about my collection before I inevitably have to leave it for the next few months. Because honestly, it's a part of me that I'm very sad to let go, even if it's just for a few months. And I know I'm gonna have them for the rest of my life. I love them. I think that you should go out and get a game that you've been wanting, even if it's a $50 copy of Manhunt for the PS2 that, in the long run, kind of worthless. These discs are gonna rot, the internet's gonna go down, every one of these playable video games will be destroyed in the foreseeable future when global warming takes over the world and we all die. But, yeah, this is what I'm gonna spend all my money on. I don't need a car. I need video games. Is that good?
No, you do need a car.
I don't need a car.
Yes, you do.
Is that okay? Was I ranting too much? Really? Okay. I'll see you soon. Video in a week. Goodbye. Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring. Telephone.